And welcome back, students, for another lesson in CSS. Today we're going to be looking at margins. And margins is a space around elements in a web page. The margin is the space between the border of that element and the border of the next element. Alright, and there's two ways you can define margin. The first, of course, is simply just define it for all sides. So let me go to, for example, this paragraph element that we did up here. And I want to just add in margin. And I'm going to just set it to 10 pixels. So that means there would be a margin of 10 pixels between it and all the other elements. So coming here, there's now a margin of 10 pixels around this paragraph tag. All right. Now we can, of course, define that individually for each element. So let me just come here. I'm going to do it in this paragraph tag, and I'm going to say margin dash top, and I'm going to set that to, let's say, 100 pixels. Margin dash bottom. Set it to 100 pixels. Margin dash right. Make that like 150. And let's just do one more here. Margin dash left. Now, you'll see that when I do that, that makes that HTML element way down there. Right? And that's one thing you have to be careful when you're working with margins, because it can push these elements really quickly. So I'm just going to adjust these a little bit. I'm going to take this down to 10, 10, and 15, 15. So we'll still have some margin values here, but it'll make it a little bit less. So you can see now it pushes that in a little bit. You can see, for example, right here, this element is now spaced out a little bit more than the previous element. And similar to last time when we were looking at borders, right, we can apply a shorthand method to shorten the amount of code. So I'm going to do the same example again, but I'm going to do it on paragraph 2. But I'm going to use it doing the shorthand method. So I'm just going to do margin. And I'm going to say, I'm going to use my new values of 10, 10, 15, 15. And the order in which the shorthand always goes is top, right, bottom, left. And that applies the same thing with the last lesson with the borders. And then, of course, if you look at other things like padding and stuff, it's the same way. It's always the top side first, followed by the right, bottom, and left. So just think about it's going clockwise. It starts at the top of the clock, and it's working its way around. Right? Now, of course, shorthand can be done other ways when left and right are shared, or when top and bottom are shared, and also when left and right are shared. So the first example here I'm going to show you, and I'm going to manipulate it using paragraph 2 here. Let's just say I want to take a look at that one and say, okay, well, what do I want to do to that element there? So, all right, hold on. Oh, yeah, I was going to change this one. Okay, let's make that one just a little different. Okay. So let's just say I want to manipulate this element here, and I want to, condense things down here. So if I look here, I have two 10 px's. All right, because those are right in a row with each other, I can actually technically come in here and eliminate it down to 1. And because it's going to go top, right, bottom, left, the CSS code is going to say, hey, the top margin is 10 pixels. In this case, it's going to say the right margin is 15 pixels, and the bottom margin, in this case, would be 20. And when it cycles back around to the left side, it's also going to get this 10 pixels. So it's just in the order of however you put it in here. Now, similarly, if I would do something like this, just take the 10 out. All right, if I have, like, let's say, 15 pixels and 20 pixels, you will see then that in this case, we have a top margin of 15 pixels, a bottom margin, or excuse me, a top right margin of 20 pixels, a bottom margin of 15, and then a right margin of 20. And that's just the order that it's going to cycle through. That about concludes this for this lesson, folks. So until next time,